What is up, everybody? It is good to be back. I am officially back from my training that I was at. It's me, TShirt. I'm not doing it alone, though. I'm joined, of course, by Army Piper and Tim. I don't know anything about what's going on in crypto right now because I've been in about 2 weeks of training. It was intense. It was a lot of push-ups, and it was a lot of screaming. But ultimately, I learned a ton, and I have a whole lot more to learn as well, and about crypto too. So apparently a lot of things happened, a lot of crazy developments in the crypto space. We're going to get to them. We're going to talk about the BlackRock ETF that is upcoming here very soon. And we're going to cover, of course, price movement from the weekend. And we're not going to do it alone. I'm joined, of course, by Tim Warren. Tim, how are you doing this morning?
What's going on, Sergeant Shroom? I didn't go to 2 weeks of training, but I did. Wait, at the very right there.
Carry on.
All right. I didn't go to training, but I still was dealt with screaming and crying and push-ups. So that happened here in Georgia here as well. If you don't have a baby, you can get a lot of screaming if you get a baby. But it's good to have you back here, Shroom. Have missed you horribly. But it's good to see you got a nice tan on your vacation. Looked like you got in a couple good workouts.
That's right.
Sat by a beach. So, you're looking pretty good there, Shroom.
Absolutely. Do you have any quote of the day for us there, Tim?
Yeah, I was, in light of your employment with the U.S. military, and this will be the last one, guys, because T-Shirt will be taking back over tomorrow, but we got to finish it out with one more good office quote, and it's not even a quote, it's simply a picture. Go ahead and share my screen here, Piper. In honor of the U.S. military, the employer of T-Shirt, the world's best boss. That's for you, Shroom. That's for you.
That's right. That's good. Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I am also not doing it alone. I've got Piper on the line here. Piper, how are you doing this morning?
I'm live from Texas, and I'm live from Texas, so I'm doing great. Like I can't complain, man. Trades are doing good. I got into a fantastic trade on Bitcoin, and literally caught like the bottom level there. So whenever my trades are doing good, I'm always good. T-Shroom, always. And
Heck
plus, I had
yeah.
Father's Day yesterday. I got to hang out with my dad and eat some brisket and ribs for Father's Day. And my youngest was here. My oldest wasn't. But he called me and we played some Fortnite together. So there you go.
Perfect. Did you get the dub? All right. Well,
we got second. We got second place. We did not get the dub. We got second. So
okay. Hey, not bad. The end game is tough in Fortnite, that's for sure. Well, I wanted to mention before we go along with the show here, really quickly.
We got a T-Shroomless bro time, and then more world's best boss. Here we go. We're gonna get this.
I wanted to mention that I had a really nice entry while I was gone. On June 14th, I actually bought into Bitcoin at $25,350. So I had a really nice entry point. That was a limit order. I'd set it on back in May 30th. And, it closed while I was probably doing push-ups. So, making money while you're training, you can't ask for much better than that. Well, let's go ahead and get into the macro news and see what to expect.
No. T-Shirt, love you. You come back and we give you the reins and you're ruining the flow of the show because guess what happens, T-Shirt, when we don't read names in this chat? Bad things. Very bad things. And you know what? We're not going to let that happen here. So let's go ahead and get over here and read these names. We had a newer first. I think he's been first before, but Yair Navarro coming in first, disrupting that Elo Brown and Mellofellow wrestling match that's been going on for the last week. So congratulations, Yair Navarro. But right behind him was Elo Brown. So I don't know if there's going to be any more trash talking between Elo and Mellofellow, but Yair Navarro gets the last laugh today. We're also joined this morning. It's so good to see that blue wrench next to T-Shroom in chat. We have missed it so much, but it's good to have it back. Crypto JMP is also here. Joe Nickel is here. Bedridden with the blue wrench is here. Ninja Glock is here. Who else do we have? Eric Wallen is here. Elliot Locke. Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench is here. Justin Eubanks. Let's see who else. Manolito Gula. Again, I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but we're going to go with it for now. Mike Lowry is also here. Crypto Trades is here. Crypto Trappa is here. Gia S. Let's see. Average Crypto Joe. Danny G. Wind Peoples. Sativio Shramoto. Kumar Raj. There are some great names here. Lexicaliber. Lily Canterbury.
Lily
Says, hey,
Canterbury is
Lily.
my cousin.
Well,
Just
it
so you
says,
know.
hey, okay, so she's talking to you. Well, okay, so you get called Tay Tay too. That's what people call, like, I hadn't heard someone call Taylor that in a while, but her family calls her Tay Tay. But this time it's you. You're the Tay Tay that Lily is
Yeah.
calling out.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
that's
first
good to
name's
know.
Taylor, so Tay Tay was a pretty
It
natural
makes sense.
fit for a nickname.
Your
Yeah,
first
it's been
name's
very,
your first name's Lieutenant.
That's right.
Get it right.
it's
Not
been
yet.
very confusing.
Not yet.
Ever since I've gotten to know T-Shirt, it's been very confusing because not only does he share a name with my wife, they share nicknames as well. So it's been very confusing. But let's keep going. A couple more here. Crimson Caravan Company is here. Oh, here we go. Crypto Pew Pew Cruise is in the house. Grand Roofing Incorporated, and we're gonna get 3 more names, and then T-Shroom. Then we'll move on into our economic outlook for the morning. We've got Marique Franick, Mike Play, and Philly Skills 1428. There you go. That is the reading of the names for today. Guys, if I didn't read your name, and I bet you there's a couple I did not get to read. Yeah, there absolutely is. It does not
Yep.
mean that I don't love you. It just means it's time to go ahead and get on into the show. Now, Piper, you can go and take us into that economic data this morning.
Cool. Well, I love Lex Caliber for being in the chat, so
Mm.
I got to give him a shout out. All right, let's jump over into it. First off, macroeconomic calendar. Guys, nothing today, really, at all. Monday, June 19th, quiet day. We do have Tuesday, June 20th here. And the reason for that, by the way, is because it's Juneteenth. So not a lot of federal events going on today. So Tuesday, June 20th here. Tomorrow, we got building permits coming in for preliminary looking at the preliminary May permits that were made for so that people can build buildings, right? So we'll see if that's coming in. It's not going to be a major thing for us on the investment side, unless you're investing in real estate, and then obviously that matters. So the big one right there. Fed Chair Powell's testimony is on Wednesday at 8 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. on the Eastern Coast. So that he's going to be testifying, sitting over there in front of the best boss in the world, number one boss, and so we'll see what happens with that, and if he says anything that gives indication for risk on or risk off in the markets. Obviously, if he has something that says risk off, people are going to go risk off, and we might see some volatility. That's continuing on until Thursday also with his testimony. That's it this week. Kind of quiet this week. The next big runs really are next week, and that's going to be PCE coming in on Friday, June 30th. Also closing out options calls at the same day. So we'll see how all that fun plays out. Let's jump over, check out the Trueflation. Trueflation neutral 2.52, still 1.5% below what the federal government, the number one boss, is pushing out there. And jumping over into our 24-hour liquidations, guys, looks like only $7.5 million in liquidation for Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. Ethereum at about 5.82. Number one winner in the past 24 hours is OKX. So there you go. OKX is your big winner, not Binance.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's changing up. We're
Well,
switching.
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, over the weekend, Bitcoin has a little bit become a stable coin. There is some variation in price, but I mean, every single time I checked Bitcoin price throughout this entire weekend, it's like 26.5, 26.480, 26.5, 27, 26.5, 26.5, 26.4. 26.5. And it's like, okay, well, it's nothing happening here. So it makes sense. There's not a lot of liquidations happening either. Let's take a quick look really fast over at CME. That has not moved either. So nothing really changed this weekend. We're all the same. We're still predicting another rate hike here in July. And then it's going to pause September, November, December. At this point, even though Jerome Powell has said he expects 2 more rate hikes to happen, CME Futures is not saying that's going to happen. They're calling bluff on that, but they are going to give him one up to 525 to 550. The real question is going to be how long will it stay at that level? Jerome Powell has once again said 2 years. I don't think that that's necessarily the truth either. So I'm actually very fascinated in hearing that happens next week, Piper, to hear what Jerome Powell says when he is questioned. When it comes to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, sitting at 47, back in neutral, nothing really happened. And we got up to 49 yesterday, down to 47. Overall, not really bullish, not really bearish, nothing necessarily special happening when it comes to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. However, let's go check out these charts. And you guys a lot of you tuning in here, you saw that title, Bitcoin about to explode if history repeats itself. Well, guess what, guys? That actually does not have to do with the charts. So some of you might have been coming in here and being like, all right, what is Tim going to say the charts are showing that if it repeats itself, we're going to, nope. Not the charts. We're going to talk about the charts. We're going to break down the TA here for just a second because there's some short-term bullish stuff, but you got to stay for the news section. There's something we're going to talk about in the news that is very, very big, and if it repeats itself, Bitcoin's price could absolutely explode. But we want to start off by giving a special shout out and thank you to Chart Prime, the most phenomenal indicator out there. Also, massive partner of this channel. Wouldn't be here without them. If you guys are looking for a great indicator tool to use for your trading, I mean, honestly, there's just nothing else better than Chart Prime. Go ahead and go get it with that link down below. We're starting off here on the 4-hour chart, guys, and you guys can see we did get a nice little break over the weekend out of our falling wedge. Last time we talked to you guys, we were kind of hovering over in this region right here, and we hadn't decided if we wanted to break out. Of course, I told you guys before, and this is very common, just kind of continue to educate you guys on how to read these things. Doesn't happen 100% of the time, but a lot of times you get a breakout after the fifth wave, after the fifth touch. Well, guess what? Right there, fifth touch, boom, we ended up breaking out to the upside. Now, we have not fully gotten to our full prediction, I don't believe, but we talked about this on Friday as well. Let's measure the opening of this. Actually, I got to go a little bit deeper because I got to get down to this wick here. That's just where it wants to start. If we come over, the conservative estimation would be a price all the way up here towards 27,482. That's going down to the support level. A more kind of aggressive estimation and prediction for a price action would actually be coming back up here to the top of the falling wedge itself, coming back up towards 28,500. Both of these, though, get us above that red level, which is resistance of a falling trading channel. We've been talking about that as well being a very big thing. Now, if we were to break that one and give a prediction on where we could break out if we break through this red line, again, these are formations, not always do. Formations don't always come true, but occasionally they do, so you want to be prepared for it. Wherever we end up breaking out, probably somewhere in this region right here, this would give us a price prediction all the way back up above $30,000. So you definitely want to keep your eyes on what's happening when it comes to formations on Bitcoin. But there's one more I want to bring your guys' attention to here on this 4-hour chart. And you guys can see, I told you guys this weekend is almost like a stable coin. But guess what else that kind of looks like? That kind of looks like we formed a little bit of a bull flag. Going to be very interesting to see if we can make a move after this. If we were to be able to do that, let's go ahead and come down here to the bottom. Okay, this flagpole, move that flagpole over to the bottom of the flag. This would give us a price prediction up here towards 28,141. So that's two of them kind of putting us in the same area back up to the peak that we were at May 29th or so. So you guys who watched the show on Friday know that I talked about the significance of this level, because when you look at this trading channel, we are in a season right now on 4-hour chart. Again, let me kind of back up here for just a second, guys. Let's go out to the weekly chart. On the macro, ooh, look at a little dot. Just find random dots that I drew all over the place. On the macro, we were setting lower highs and lower lows. What was so significant about breaking through 25.2 here just a couple of months ago was that we went into a season where we started setting higher highs and higher lows. You guys can see we're constantly moving to the upside. So on the more macro version right now, guys, we're actually very bullish when it comes to Bitcoin. When we're out on the weekly chart, we're sitting in a bullish trend. However, come back down to the 4-hour chart, and I forgot freaking TradingView got rid of the auto button once again, so I have to do all this manually. You can sit on this little thing and come up here and hit it, but then you have to hit it twice, and it's annoying, and you might as well just use your mouse pad. So bear with me, guys, as I play with the charts. When we're here on the 4-hour chart, we are setting lower highs and lower lows. So unlike the macro version where we're in a bull trend setting higher highs and higher lows, right now on this secondary trend, we're still bearish. And guess what? As long as price stays below 28,500 or so, which is where this peak is, we're still in a state of setting lower highs, excuse me. Even if we top out right here, this was not the main move. Remember when I went back and counted these, you're looking at these, you're looking at touches here is really what you're looking at. So I didn't do it on this one. 1, 2, and I'm probably going to run out of touches here, guys, honestly. 4, 5, and then I got to keep going. In reality, 6 was like this right here. 6 would have come down to this point right here. And until we break up back above that 5th touch, it doesn't matter if we break this level right here. We're still setting lower highs on this secondary trend. We got to get above 28.5 to break that downtrend in price action here on Bitcoin. So if we can do that, great, that's bullish. But as long as we stay below, you do need to stay a little bit cautious of the fact that we are in a bear trend. Now, the good news is, like I've said before, this trading channel that is giving us lower highs and lower lows, traditionally it breaks to the upside. I told you guys after that 5th touch, as I just showed you, that was the 5th touch right here. We came down. This is the 6th touch. We didn't even get all the way back to the blue line. Potentially, are we going to see this 7th wave kind of break us through and head to the upside once again? Like I told you guys, that would give us a price over $30. A couple of things I want to take a look at here on Bitcoin here on the 4-hour chart, and then we're going to move on and take a look at Cardano, and then I'm going to throw it over to Piper to look at Ethereum. We're doing something very bullish as well with the oscillators that I discussed on Friday. If you guys remember, let's go back over here. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. I discussed this last Friday, how at first I didn't like it, but then it ended up doing something that I loved. Remember when we came up here? This was Thursday night. Thursday night, we came up, we got our overbought, we got our flash on the hour chart, we got our bearish divergence. I didn't like how overextended we were on the RSI. And I told you guys in the Discord, I said, I don't like how this looks. But then the price traded sideways Friday morning. And the RSI and the chart prime oscillator moved to the downside, back towards the 0, back towards the 50. And I told you guys on the show, I love this. I love seeing the price action move sideways, but the RSI and the oscillators reset to the downside because it's reloading for another push. Well, guess what? That's exactly what ended up happening. We're seeing the exact same thing happen now on the 4-hour chart, where yes, on the RSI and the chart prime oscillator, we got a little overextended. No, we didn't even get a reversal flash on the 4-hour chart, but our RSI did climb over 70, getting up almost towards 80. And then as price kept moving sideways, you can see the RSI and the oscillator started to move back down towards the midline. This is another thing that looks like Bitcoin is gearing up for another push. So as we're looking at those levels, we do have this red line above us. Keep your eyes on that. We're going to need to see some volume, which I don't have turned on right now. Let's turn on our volume. I'm going to want to see some volume come in as we break this red line to give it confidence we're going to break through. But keep your eyes on the different predictions. We had one here at 27.4, one here at about 28.5. Those are both going to be levels that I'm going to keep my eye on. And, in fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and just make a box and say this is a zone that we need to be watching for price to break into. Last thing I want to show you here on Bitcoin, guys, though, let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile going all the way back to the beginning of this quarter 2, back on April 1st. You guys can see significant levels. We've gotten back above the value area low. Didn't necessarily bounce off of the point of control perfectly, but we are using it as resistance. So that's going to be another level I'm keeping an eye out for right there. The point of control at about 26,800. And then keeping this value area low around 26.2 is going to be very, very important for Bitcoin to do to keep this bullish momentum up. That is the Bitcoin TA we got for you guys this morning. Take a quick look at the Dixie. Did get a little bit of a bounce here after dropping all the way to 101.56, making a push back up. 4-hour chart looks like it still has room to go to the upside. I bet the hour chart is probably looking a little more overextended. Yeah, sure enough, it's kind of getting this reversal flashes, but we absolutely could see the Dixie continue to climb. I wouldn't be too concerned about this, though, guys, because we've watched the Dixie and Bitcoin historically in the past trade opposite directions, but more recently, a lot of times they kind of make similar moves, and they're not necessarily the antithesis of each other like they used to be. Let's take a look quickly at Cardano. I told you guys on Friday, this is one that I'm not as bullish on right now. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. And even this right here, guys, 4-hour chart, I'm going to kind of leave it here. The chart prime oscillator did it for me. I don't even have to draw it for you guys. We got bearish divergence for me here on the 4-hour chart, but I could see it on the RSI as well with those higher peaks and yet lower peaks on price action. Guys, I'm still bullish on Cardano long term, but I'm not convinced that Cardano has officially bottomed out, especially with the fact that we are getting some more bullish news coming in. And we're seeing some other things, kind of relief kind of coming from that massive bearish stuff happening last week. Cardano's just staying kind of boring. And yes, You know, it's going sideways kind of with the RSI and the oscillators dropping. So maybe we're going to get a little bit of a relief. But with that bearish divergence, I would not be surprised to see another one and potentially a good push. I told you guys before, I have my yellow box drawn over here on the daily chart. I'm going to keep my eyes on. I've kind of purchased all the Cardano around the 24, 25 cent region I want to. The next time I'm purchasing more Cardano for the long haul is going to be down here in this yellow box between 18 cents and about 14 cents. And at this point in time, guys, yes, we have a daily chart oversold, green reversal. I'm not necessarily too confident and convinced that this box will not be hit in the next couple of weeks, maybe months. That's what I got for you guys on Cardano's TA. Piper, I actually got that a little early. It's 9:21. Wow. This is good. T-Shirt's back, and we're ahead of schedule. What are you seeing over on Ethereum's TA this morning, Piper? Are you bullish? You bearish? What do we got over there?
Right now I'm sitting bullish on Ethereum. I do want to, so shout out to Harp. He said he messaged me on Saturday on Twitter. He did about checking check dot. I'll go ahead and look at it here on this session, so we're a little bit ahead. But can somebody drop a link to the Discord, because our one that's in the description I don't think is working. So we need someone to drop that into the chat there. So join our free Discord over in Investing Bros. I appreciate you, T-Shirt. Thanks, man. Elo Brown said he would love to, but he's not a mod. So all right, so looking at Ethereum here, guys, you can see here, this is the trade bands, just so you guys can get a visual here. This is the top and the bottom trade band. That delta line is running literally on the 786 right now. So I want to give you that perspective first, okay? And you can see right now we are bouncing on that lower trade band. Remember, we typically tend to trade between the trade bands. So if you look at back here, that's where we had our rejection out there with that reversal printing there on the chart prime indicator, and down it came. Now we have fallen below that. We created a new order block down here. We got back above the golden pocket, and now we're on that lower trade band. I do think we are going to see some more upside here. One reason being is if you look down here on the MACD normalized, if you guys don't know what this is, MACD normalized is another free indicator from Chart Prime, guys. Absolutely amazing. Does some cool stuff. Just go in, type in Chart Prime, all one word, and you will see MACD normalized in there. You guys should grab that, because what it does is it creates a fast mover and a slow mover with stochastic. RSI overlaid with MACD, and it also does averaging on the histogram versus the typical moving averages. So very, very clean. And we can see right here when I bring this in, nope, don't make dots. No Tim dots, please. If I bring this in, you'll see that MACD normalized fast and slow moving line is starting to curve back up. So I do believe what we're going to see here on this histogram is a curvature to go for more upside too. So looking at the MACD normalized, I just did it again. I just keep making dots.
Listen,
two little eyeballs over here just staring at me. You know, it does happen, Tim. You're right. So yeah, based on this, and based on the fact that the RSI prime is about to curve back up here, you can see that going on. And then the fact that we've got the bounce on the zero line looking like we're happening here on the oscillator ribbon. Let me bring that into focus. There you go. You see that looks like a little curvature there, and we're getting a curvature on the trend fusion. Guys, there's 4 different oscillators here that are showing bullish activity on Ethereum right now. So I do believe that Ethereum is going to the upside. That trade currently right now for me in profit, and I like to see it. Who doesn't? Let's go. And I did want to show one thing on XRP before I go check out CheckDot for Heart, because he did message me. I told him, hit me up in Discord. He never made it to Discord. So XRP is right now at my trade entry because I averaged it down, hitting entries down here, which pulled my entry price down from where it was at. So right now I'm sitting in profit on it, but we are getting rejection right here off of that 50% line, guys. So that is what I'm seeing. We're also got a rejection on the dynamic reactor. That's what that line is right there. And to top it off, we also hit our trend assist, and which was a red bearish line, said that we were in a bearish trend. We retested it. It does great for retest. And then we also have the downtrend arrow coming into the the oscillator here, and we had a hidden bearish divergence on the oscillator. So not looking overly promising, and I'm not seeing a lot here on the histogram.
One thing I'm going to say, one thing I'll say, Piper, take a quick look at the daily chart with those dynamic reactors. We might be seeing some consolidation happening between them because we got support on the daily dynamic reactor
Oh,
here a
look
couple
at
of
you,
days ago.
Tim. Yes, absolutely. When I switched it over to the daily, it's a whole different story. Good call, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here
Yep.
just I was like this looking at the 4 hour, you know. This is why we do top down TA guys, and I failed you there. Yeah, we got a bounce
No,
on the
you're good.
dynamic reactor off of this on a wick down. And we also got that engulfing pattern on the RSI primed, and now we're starting to twist. So, man, I don't know. 4 hour, very bearish.
Uh,
Daily,
I
very
think,
bullish.
yeah. Watch the suppression between the 4 hour bearish and the daily bullish. I'm anticipating some high consolidation and then a big breakout coming. Don't know if it's gonna be bullish or bearish yet, but a big breakout should come on XRP soon with that
We'll
consolidation.
go with that. I like it. I'm going to
Yep.
go check CheckDot right now. So, those that don't know, CheckDot is one of those things that we learned about from Crypto Archie. So I want to go check that. Yeah, the Crypto Gem Hunters over there. CheckDot has been talked about a lot over there, and I want to make sure I get a good one because that's with versus BNB. So let's check it with Gate.io. Here we go. Let's see if this works. No data. I'm gonna have to probably, hey, bro, Hart, join us in the over there um in the free Discord space for Investing Bros, man, and I'll take a look because right now I'm not seeing a good chart for it. So because it is such a small cap, we will have to look at that. You and I, we'll just jump into a live room. So if anybody's interested in getting into that later, get over there into our free Discord, and you too can watch me do TA on CheckDot when I can finally find a chart for CheckDot. So.
Yeah. Very
Tim,
good stuff.
that's what I got. By the
This is
way,
good. I mean,
T-Shroom
what's up?
said he got his Bitcoin at 25.3. I just wanted to come over here and show you. That's pretty good, T-Shroom. But I actually got my entry at $25,000. That yellow line right there. So
Very nice.
literally caught the bottom on this little cluster of price action there. So yeah, my Bitcoin is making up for my XRP being at entry right now. So
Absolutely. Well, I aspire to be as good of a sniper as you are one day. But right now, I'll take what I can get in terms of entries. But hey, I will say I was miles away from my actual exchange from Robinhood and being able to actually buy. So
yeah,
I think I did pretty good with that limit order.
the fact that you
Yeah.
hit 25.3 is amazing. Because let's be honest here. What's the difference between 25,000 and 25.3? Really nothing in Bitcoin's moves. So no, you did good. You did good.
Absolutely.
It speaking T-Shroom of that of what you just said. We had a segment today, guys, and we're gonna do a little bit of early. Maybe we'll do a little bit at the end if we have run out of time in terms of like saying like we did all our stories and we still have time left.
Well, there's no market open
T-Shroom
today,
was
so
on his
there is that.
T-Shroom was on his vacation for the last 2 weeks, so T-Shroom missed a lot of things. T-Shroom, have you heard anything about your beloved Robinhood over the last 2 weeks?
My dad, who's in the chat right now, he actually mentioned a couple of things to me, and I did do a little research. My understanding is that they delisted a couple of coins that have gotten caught up in the security controversy. So go ahead and fill me in.
They did. Well, no, I mean, it seems like your research did not fail you. They absolutely did. Good.
I think we should do some true and false now because there's no market open today. So let's go ahead and do the true and false with T-Shroom.
Well, I was gonna have Piper. I was gonna have T-Shroom look at the stock market and see if he's surprised there because we had some nice runs. I don't know if he's looked at the charts yet, but just filling you in, T-Shroom. So the big ones on there were Cardano and Matic for sure. Not to belittle the others, but we talk about big cap altcoins. Both Cardano and Matic got looped in on there, and because of it, I actually was wrong with this. I didn't think that it was going to be that big of a deal because I don't see Robinhood as being a serious crypto exchange. I see Robinhood more as a stock market exchange that happened to dabble in crypto so they could expand some customers. But I was wrong. T-Shroom, almost every single coin that was listed in the lawsuit against Binance, Robinhood delisted them. And then they ended up dropping by about 20%, some of them even more. So I want you to respond because obviously right now, people in our community, we had some people who are pro Robinhood, some people against Robinhood. You guys know I'm not necessarily a Robinhood fan, but I have learned to appreciate it from the likes of TShirt. But this is just one more blow on their friendliness to the crypto space. What do you have to say for your friends over at Robinhood, TShirt?
Right. Well, look, like Robinhood, I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue to hold my Bitcoin on Robinhood, and in cold wallets, or buy Bitcoin on Robinhood and hold it in cold wallets. I'm gonna continue to trade crypto on Robinhood, because it's centralized for me. Everything is in one place, and it's easy to see all the dashboards and everything like that. They're obviously just covering their butt from a legal standpoint. Coinbase is doing something similar here. It's not new for exchanges to delist coins that they think may not be in compliance with the SEC. Now, what I will say is Matic and ADA are a big surprise here. My guess is that these are not permanent changes, but as we go through this, 2023 was supposed to be the year of regulation. So as we go through this year of regulation and kind of the hammer coming down on some things, the big one being the XRP trial, we're gonna see some hesitance. We're gonna see some. I wouldn't even go as far as say cowardice, but we're gonna see some legal teams really kind of pushing the brakes and saying, let's go ahead and taper back some of these risks we've been taking in the crypto and our crypto division, and let's go ahead and kind of cover our butts. I think though that on the other side of this wave of regulation, that you will see a lot more coins come back onto these exchanges such as Robinhood and Coinbase, as there's more regulatory clarity, right? As these exchanges become more confident in listing certain assets. So that's kind of my prediction. I don't think this is unique to Robinhood. Robinhood has made trading available for the average Joe, right? And there's been exchanges that have come along and tried to do something similar, but Robinhood, as far as I'm concerned, it really made commissionless trading a thing. TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, all of those retail brokerage softwares, they was all $10 both ways. $10 to enter a trade, $10 to leave a trade, and that made the barrier to entry for somebody like me very high. So it was never attractive to do anything but just invest and maybe swing trade. Well, when Robinhood came around and had the commissionless trading, which they still maintain today, that made it very possible for somebody like me to trade only $3,000 or $5,000 account. Those commissions were not intimidating. So I'd say on a net, Robinhood has done an amazing thing for the retail investor. They've had some hiccups when it came to GameStop, but at length, I can pretty much defend that. I don't feel like I need to defend it because their track record speaks for itself. And of course, as a major operator in the space, they're going to have hiccups. So you just kind of have to expect that. But I think this latest wave of taking coins down is unfortunate. But from a legal perspective, you have to assume that they're making the best decision for their company, and so that they can continue to provide the commissionless service that they do. I will say that they continue to impress me. I mean, they offered IRAs now, so you can get an IRA through Robinhood. They're not stopping. They're not just sitting back and just guzzling up a bunch of money, right? They're actually continuing to bring new value to their users. So we do have a link to Robinhood in the description, so you guys can go ahead if you're interested in getting into equities or holding Bitcoin and Ethereum in a Robinhood wallet. You can go down to the description and check out that Robinhood link.
Tim, I want to point out that at the beginning of the show, before we started, you asked T-Shrew, "Hey, do you want to do the intro today?" And he's like, "Man, I'm just not feeling it. I'm beaten down. I don't have it today." And then you start talking about Robinhood, and he's on fire. Look at him go.
I know. Well, and we had a super chat that came in. I'm going to read in just a second, but I want to respond. I want to respond to T-Shirt. Here's the thing, because this is where I've kind of come out about Robinhood, and which is why I don't have a problem with just so you guys know, behind the scenes, we're going to just air this out. T-Shirt and I had long discussions about putting a Robinhood link into our description, to which I finally just like, you know what, go for it, T-Shirt. I want people to have the option to go do that if they want to. Just full transparency, T-Shroom clearly has Robinhood Exchange. Tim does not. But if you guys want one, go use that link because that benefits T-Shroom, and I love that. Because even if I don't like some of the ideas of T-Shroom, I love the T-Shroom himself. So big supporter of T-Shroom. That's Tim. I sponsor T-Shirt. Anyway, so here we go. That was a long tangent to get into what I wanted to say. The first thing I'll say is I think that there were certain coins that Coinbase throughout the last week or so has delisted, but a lot of them you've never heard of before. And the reason why they delisted them is because there's just no way around it. They're going to be deemed securities. They were just clearly terrible crypto projects. The surprise from Robinhood is the likes of Cardano and Matic. Especially last week, T-Shirt, we got the release of the Hinman files, which is another thing. I'm sure you haven't gotten to read up on that yet, but I'm sure you will. And I don't even know if the Hinman files are going to be used as the defining factor of what securities are and what they're not. But in the email, Hinman discusses, and he's talking about Ethereum and why he doesn't think Ethereum is a security. And he talks about the two different factors. One, is there an ICO? So if there's no ICO, then it should not be a security. If there is an ICO, then it's security up until the point it becomes decentralized. And then once a coin has reached a certain level of decentralization, it's no longer a security, correct? All right. So the argument there is that Ethereum maybe at one point could have been classified as a security, but now it's reached that level of decentralization. It no longer is. When it comes to the likes of Cardano, I'm just going to use Cardano, for example. It never had an ICO in the United States. It ICO'd in Japan. So if Japan's SEC wanted to try to make a case that at a certain period in time, Cardano was a security, that's fine. But in the United States, there's no case whatsoever, right? And yet, Robinhood decided, you know what? We're going to bow to the likes of Gary Gensler and the SEC, and we're going to delist them. And here's where I kind of came out of this, T-Shirt. I said this, I think, on Around the Blockchain. I think I was on Around the Blockchain the day that this kind of came out. I said my first gut feeling response was, Robinhood, you cowards. Robinhood, what the heck? Why are you running from this? And then I rethought it. And this is where I've come to grips with it. And T-Shirt, I think you're probably in the same boat as well. I just don't see Robinhood as a crypto exchange. I see them as a public exchange that wants to be on the NASDAQ, that wants to do stocks, who happen to have held some cryptocurrencies and still hold some, like the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But they are no friends of crypto. They are friends of themselves. They are friends of making money. They're friends of a platform. As you said, they want to have an easy platform so people can get involved in investing. That's great. That's awesome. As long as people understand that Robinhood is not a friend of crypto, they are a friend of money, and you can make money using Robinhood, you're good. When it comes to likes of Binance and Coinbase, yes, technically they're still centralized exchanges. If those two exchanges ever delist Cardano or Matic or any of these other top altcoins, I will be super disappointed, and I will call them cowards, because they are supposed to be friends of crypto, and they have portrayed themselves as being friends of crypto. So I will hold them to a much larger, a much greater standard than I do Robinhood. I think people just need to understand when it comes to Robinhood, don't be angry at them for delisting crypto. Understand who they are. They are not crypto people. They will bow to the SEC because they want to continue to be in the good graces so they can still make money off of people trading stocks and other commodities and other securities. So for those reasons, they're going to delist unregistered securities, even if they're not technically unregistered securities yet. They're just going to be proactive because they don't want the SEC coming down on them for anything else. As long as you understand that about Robinhood, you're good to keep trading with them. Just know who you're working with at all times. Sometimes, I mean, I'll say this: worst comes to worst. Sometimes it's better to work with the devil you know than the devils you don't know. So we know who Robinhood is now. They've shown their true colors, and it's not crypto.
Sure, I can generally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and read
there?
this. Yeah, well, first the super chat. I said I was going to read super chat from Elliot Locke. Lieutenant Shroom, we have talked about the Litecoin halving last night. Do you or others think that Bitcoin will follow in its footsteps or not? When is the Litecoin halving? So I guess, Shroom, this is really for you because I have no idea where this is going with. You talked with Elliot Locke last night about the Litecoin halving?
Did. Yep.
So yeah, fill us
So
in. What's happening with the Litecoin halving?
Well, it's in 44 days.
Okay.
So it'll be happening August 2nd, right? And kind of my thesis here is that, look, crypto's at a low right now, right? We just kind of hit a low. Bitcoin isn't, but certainly the altcoins, and Litecoin would be among them. They're at a low because of the macro narrative right now with the securities classifications from the SEC. So what's going to pull us out of that? Well, I think the next big event in crypto is going to be that Litecoin halving. Certainly there'll be other events, but I think the Litecoin halving is going to be significant because If you look at it on a chart, on a daily chart, and I have that pulled up, you can see that it's kind of at the lower end of this range here. And so it's at a very viable point, I'd say, generally. So if we zoom out, you can see that Litecoin has traded quite a bit higher not too long ago. Just as far back as December 2021, it was trading at $200 per coin, right? So what I think could happen here is that the halving narrative, the education around what a halving is going to permeate the industry, the media, and Litecoin will have a nice little price ascension, and it'll click for crypto traders, for NFT collectors, and for just investors and traders generally in peripheral markets such as forex, stocks, and futures. It'll click for them. Oh, the halving, yeah, that's right. Well, Bitcoin's supposed to have a halving as well in 2024, and I think that's going to start to kick off that social contagion of bullishness for crypto. So I think it's going to start with Litecoin here in the next 44 days. And that's kind of my thesis. And I was chatting last night about that, and I stick to it. I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say too. And then I also got something I want to talk about with Tesla. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I was a part of. So you guys know that I am the brand manager for BitBoy Crypto. So I'm very involved in the content that's made over here. And one of the guys here, AJ, which I want to bring AJ on the show at some point. I know this is early morning for him and stuff, but I want to bring AJ on. Really love AJ. He's been making a lot of these price prediction videos. But I'm sitting down with him. We're kind of going through the data. We're trying to make, we're making a price prediction video about Litecoin. And one of the topics we brought up was the halving. Here's what people need to know. The Litecoin halving is not as a significant of a factor as is the Bitcoin halving, because the Bitcoin halving, that's the big dog. It'll affect the rest of crypto. But actually, traditionally, T-Shroom, we actually usually see a rally kind of into the Litecoin halving and then a fall after it's happened. The fall starts a little bit before, and then the price actually dips. But then even Litecoin itself rallies during the Bitcoin halving. So there's just something about the Bitcoin halving that, of course, you're splitting the rewards of Bitcoin in half. That, if the demand stays the same, the supply goes down, price goes up, right? But it also brings attention to the entire crypto space. So for anyone wondering about the Litecoin halving, actually, you guys know Litecoin halvings are sell signals. If you're in a Litecoin trade, you're actually looking for I think T-Shroom, you just said we have 44 days left until it. I think you're looking
Correct.
for another good push, and then you're looking for your exit point. I'm not necessarily saying short it necessarily. There's a lot of unknowns always, and especially when it comes to these halving, there's only been a handful of halvings, so you can't say, well, we have like 27 data points to look at. We have like 3 or 4. But traditionally, in those 3 or 4 halvings, I can't remember how many Litecoins had at this point, the price moves up into them and then down out of them, unlike the Bitcoin halving, where actually the price is kind of lull and boring for a little while, and then about 100 days before the Bitcoin halving, we start a rally, and then the Bitcoin halving happens, and that rally gets set on fire. Litecoin halving is not the same as the Bitcoin halving. I don't know what the comparison is there, but just so you guys know, traditionally, and because we just made this video like about a month ago, they usually fall after the Litecoin halving. So that, do with that information what you will.
Yeah. I premium.
Yeah, it's it typically has like a pullback of 40 to 60% after the halving. So that's we talked about that not long ago on I believe Crypto Gem Hunters. I went over that. So
good stuff.
Yep.
Well, yeah, T-Shroom, let's you said you wanted something about Tesla, and then we're gonna jump into some stories. So we still, even though it's not a big story day, there are some stories happening. So go ahead and what are you seeing about Tesla, and then let's jump into our stories for the day.
Well, what I've been doing is looking at mega cap tech companies on the monthly chart, and specifically looking at the Bollinger Band to kind of gauge where these companies are in the potential movement to the upside that could be happening. So if you go to my screen, Piper, you can see I've got monthly candles pulled up here. You can see kind of where Tesla is in proximity to that monthly Bollinger Band. And you can see here that it's only at the half. It's only right at it right now. This is Tesla. So before I left on May 30th, I actually entered Tesla at $200 per share. And obviously, you've seen some upside from that. But if you take a look over here at Microsoft, well, actually, before I leave Tesla, you can see here that Tesla's got it. If you go basically where the Bollinger Band is on up, Tesla's got another 50% that it could run up to the upper band. But if you look at Oracle is actually crazy outperformed here, and you don't hear about it talked about much. Oracle same analysis, has already achieved that, and it's already gone higher. You can see that Bollinger Band actually prints. You can't see back behind it. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. So it's up above that Bollinger Band, and it's about 37% there, up to it, and then 50% through it. So then you can also take a look at Microsoft and Apple have already achieved and kind of gone up there and tested that upper Bollinger Band too. Microsoft, with more float, has only moved up about 22% to date on those monthly candles, whereas Apple, I believe, has done a little bit better than that. No, worse than that. So it's about 17%. So there's just a lot more shares to move the price there. So it's a little more difficult. Whereas Google here, take a look here. This should be ringing alarm bells, right, of opportunity. As long as market conditions continue to remain as bullish as they are, which they're not that bullish, I would say, but as long as they remain bullish, and hey, we just got a pause from the Fed, right? That's generally pretty bullish. Then you could anticipate that Google is going to have a nice move to the upside here from its midline of the Bollinger Band here. Now, there's a lot of other circumstances, a lot of other forces, but generally that's kind of what I'm clocking here on mega cap tech stocks. And because when I've come back from this 2-week training and I haven't seen major movements to the downside, going back and slicing back through that Bollinger Band on Google, or if I go to Tesla and I haven't seen Tesla make like a huge rejection off of that Bollinger Band and come back and test down lower than 200, that to me is saying that there is confidence in the Nasdaq, in the S&P, in American stocks, that and there's bullishness, right? And that's going to eventually trickle back into the other risk assets of crypto, right? So that's kind of my analysis here. But I mostly just wanted to shout out that the 2 plays that I made before I left, right, putting a limit order on Bitcoin down at 25,350, and then buying Tesla, have both panned out really, really well. And so what it tells me is I need to go with my gut more when I have but when I'm in front of my computer all the time, it's hard you second guess yourself a lot. So you'll put in a trade and then you'll just take profit as soon as you make it. Whereas I put in 2 trades and then went away for 2 weeks, and both of those have played out nicely for me. So that's a little lesson I've learned there on Tesla and Bitcoin, guys. Hopefully that was valuable for you. Let's go ahead and get into the news here, unless you guys had any comments on that.
No, that's good. Let's get into it.
Sick. Well, what I want to do first off is just remind everybody we are currently at all-time highs for the U.S. national debt. We are currently rocking out at $32 trillion of debt. Look at that, and it's only going higher. That translates to a 121% U.S. federal debt to GDP ratio. Guys, back in 1980, that was only 34%, and as recently as 2000, that was only 57%. So you can see we are cruising for a bruising. Really
It's
rough
awesome.
stuff there.
T-Shirt, what is more American than setting new records?
It's true. Nothing.
So,
America loves to be first.
yeah.
Really, Tim? Really?
We set records. That's what we do over here in America.
That's right.
You guys just watch
That's
out.
right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our stories here, guys. Crypto community donates $1 million to Sleuth Zach XBT after defamation lawsuit. So Zach's XBT, if you're unfamiliar, it's kind of like a crypto or a CoffeeZilla, a little bit like that, not exactly like that type of personality, but a bit of a sleuth and trying to use the on-chain data to try to hunt down different scams and different things like that. Well, backers for Zach XBT include crypto exchanges like Binance and security firm Certex and Tron creator Justin Sun, among others. So some pretty big names there. And what's really the details? What's actually going on here? Well, NFT trader Machi Big Brother, otherwise known as Jeffrey Huang, last week sued Zach XBT, an independent blockchain detective, after the OnChain Sleuth published a report last year alleging Huang embezzled tens of millions of dollars worth of crypto. The lawsuit filed on Friday in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas alleges that Zach XBT defamed Machi Big Brother, inflicting serious reputational and monetary harm on him. Zach XBT faces 1 count of libel and 1 count of libel per se, according to the complaint. So definitely no buts about it. This is a pretty serious case. And if Zach XBT loses this, that's going to be devastating for him and for his sleuth operations. So
I
if you're
did
interested.
I
Go
did
ahead.
see. I don't know if you saw this story, if it's a follow up, but where was it? Give me a second. I saw something kind of go across my headline. Go back to Bitcoin. I don't know why it's attached to Bitcoin news, but his
Mhm.
legal fight turns into funding. He's already raised over $1 million, which is going to be
Yep.
awesome for the stuff. So we're rooting for Zach
Yep.
XBT. I mean, I wonder if this lawsuit's going to turn into an actual investigation into Machi Big Brother, because like that's the whole thing is that like yeah he's I mean truth hurts sometimes, and if it's true this person embezzled and stole a bunch of money and the US government has not gone after him, Zach XBT should not be in trouble if what he's promoting and what he was saying in that report is true. So that's what's going to be
Mhm.
funny to watch here. It's in this lawsuit, all the data and get that's the thing about Zach XBT. He doesn't make stuff up. He just comes and reports details. Could something be opened up in a criminal investigation against this Machi Big Brother guy? You would like to think that this person, before a lawsuit of this magnitude, would have crossed his T's and dotted his I's, but should be interesting to watch this unfold. Glad to see the support coming for Zach XBT. $1 million can get you a pretty good lawyer. So
Yep. Yep. Good lawyer for a day. Just kidding. All right, moving on. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the next headline. It's actually a tweet from Andrew Kang, said decision in Grayscale versus SEC case expected in next few weeks. Result could tip the tables for Bitcoin ETF approval much sooner than 240-day requirement. Negative headline risk now balanced with positive headline risk. This was in response to Justin Slaughterer's comment. Justin Slaughterer he was an advisor to the CFTC, and he said the DC Circuit typically issues decisions 3 to 5 months after oral arguments, so an opinion could drop any day now. In some cases that had oral arguments in March and April have received opinions in the following few weeks. I mean, this is just going to show, the timeline continues to indicate that we should see an outcome here from the Grayscale versus SEC any day now. So that could be big. That could be big. And let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. That is a pretty big bullish indicator here, actually kind of gesturing to our thumbnail. This is from Will Clemente, a very respected analyst, saying, shown below is when GLD launched, allowing easy access to gold exposure for investors, GLD being a gold ETF. If and when BlackRock, who has a 99% ETF success rate, Bitcoin ETF launches very similar structure to GLD, expected similar price action as its unlock access to Bitcoin exposure for the masses. So you can take a look here at where GLD, the gold ETF, went live back there. What is that? 2005, around there, early 2005. You can see that the price of gold, is it the spot price of gold? It looks like the futures price of gold skyrocketed 359% after the release of that. So in any case, if you're looking at this from just a binary standpoint, price went up and to the right. So that was very positive for gold. And the question here is kind of, could the same thing happen for Bitcoin? Piper, I'll throw it over to you. Do you think that the same forces are ready to bring Bitcoin higher? And is it going to be to the tune of triple digit percent increase? What are your thoughts on this? Muted,
you're muted.
Of course I am, because
but
I'm the
not
king of the
forgotten.
mute button. I'll never be muted. I'm out of the army now. You can't mute me anymore. Um, so I think it's going to have a positive effect. I think that there will be a lot of FOMO that will move it along that way because people have that mentality. And look, it happened with
Mhm.
gold, why not with Bitcoin? But I don't know that it's going to be a 3.5x on Bitcoin, like running
Mhm.
off of that. I mean, mind you, that's years, I think, on that chart, right? That was over years that took place.
That's correct. About six
Yeah.
and a half
Okay.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Why not? From this current level, I think 3.5x is probably very low. So,
Yeah. Right. That's
if we're
actually
looking
kind of
at
what I was
years,
thinking.
if we're looking at like this year, no, I don't think we're going to 3.5x off of it as soon as it launches. But no, it's bullish. I think it's bullish information. I think it's bullish. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Timmy
I,
T,
I have
what
a
are your thoughts
question.
on that? What's that?
Go ahead, Tim.
Well,
Go ahead, Tim.
Well, share his screen one more time. I want to look at something real quick because obviously the dates that it's overlapping have to do with the 2008 crash in the markets.
That's
So let's
true.
see, around 2008, it kind of it didn't really, it kept moving up during that time. So the reason why I think this could happen, and even more so, T-Shirt, you can go back to Brocam now, Piper, is looking at that. The fact that a lot of the negativity that was happening in the stock market kind of crossed at the same time that gold just exploded. I think that we're going to do more than 300. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, so here's just the thing about this: 300% in the next 6 years. I would like to hope so. It would do 300%. Think about it right now, guys. Let's just even go and rally up to 30K. 300% is only 90K. We're talking about 6 years for Bitcoin to get to 90K. That's chump change.
I
We're
think
going to
6
see
years from now, you're going to see Bitcoin closer to the $300,000.
Yeah, we're gonna see this actually go in the next 6 years. Yeah, like you're saying, like we're talking about 10x. Yeah, 10x. Is that like 1,000%? I guess is the best way to put that.
Correct.
That would put us. Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. So the other thing is, again, what I'm seeing there is this happening in the face of financial kind of question marks and disasters and economic economic uncertainty. I think Bitcoin is gold on fire, and I think people are waking up to that, especially wealthy people. And here's what I've been saying this for a while, guys. If you are a retail investor like I am, like Piper is, like T-Shirt is, you don't appreciate yet how amazing it is that you found Bitcoin this early. Because Bitcoin has the capacity and the potential to be one of the greatest fair reassessments of wealth this world's ever seen. Like, people want the government to come in and redistribute wealth and make all that's illegal. You can't take money from people to give it to other people. That is called theft, even if you're taking from the rich to give to the poor, right? But when it comes to Bitcoin, you, even as a poor person, have the ability in this season to become generationally wealthy over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, your kids, your grandkids, and everything else. And yet here's the problem.
Yep.
Most people will not take advantage of it. Most poor people, most retail investors, I'm including myself. When I say poor, lower middle class, I don't even know if I'm in the lower middle class. I don't know where I am. People that are not multi hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millionaires, we're going to ignore this. Majority of us, we're going to ignore it, and we're going to say, "Oh, that's that fake internet money thing." I'm going to wait until serious players get in. I'm going to wait until the millionaires get in before I actually get into there. And guess what happens, guys?
Tim, did you just say that anybody that don't have $1 million is poor?
No, I said I started with hundreds of thousands, and then I went to million. I'm talking about like anybody who like I would say, in the grand scheme of when you're looking at the American citizens, if you don't have $100,000, you're definitely on the poorer side. Especially, I mean, you think about like where we are, Piper. I know that sounds ridiculous to say that, but I want you guys to even realize this. I remember as a child, my dad talking to me about, like, we were watching some show and a person won $1 million. Who wants to be a millionaire or something, right? And my dad said, if I won $1 million, I'd be able to retire and live in retirement, be able to pay for your kids' college, yada, 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 right? Guys, I'm only 29 years old, and I remember my dad talking about how great $1 million would be. Piper, how far does $1 million go now? Like, if I won $1 million, I'd be good for a couple of years.
So I can answer this for you. If you have $1 million and you have no debt when you get the $1 million, and you properly inject that $1 million into recurring returns, then you can absolutely survive on $1 million and never touch it.
Absolutely.
Still to this day.
You just talk about $1 million and reinvesting. I'm just talking about having $1 million in the bank and saying what you can do with it. Because here's the thing, Piper, I like, especially my age, and I'm not going to get this number.
You would probably survive about 10 years. That's it. That's the max.
Average,
the extreme max is 10 years on $1 million.
The average 29-year-old, the average person, mine and T-Shroom's age right now, their net worth is negative $3,000, right? So like we have people who we're just poor. Like, there are people making good money from their jobs and they are still poor because net worth, they're in debt. And those are the type of people who they've probably heard of Bitcoin. They probably looked at Bitcoin and they're saying, I'm going to wait till I have a little more surety. And this is what we kind of got off my tangent, but I want to bring it back into this. This recent news we've seen with BlackRock, the whole reason we're talking about this story, the gold ETF, we're now comparing it to a Bitcoin ETF. Why? Because we've seen BlackRock now apply for one. And by the way, guys, there's been confusion on that. It is an ETF. I actually had to go back and look at stuff. Some people said it was a spot trust. Some people said spot ETF. After further looking into it, investigating, it is a spot ETF. We see now Fidelity coming out saying they're going to apply for an ETF. What we're talking about here is Bitcoin ETFs are coming very, very soon. But guess who they are coming by? BlackRock and Fidelity. What do BlackRock and Fidelity do? They help wealthy people, and I'm talking about multimillionaires, invest their wealth correctly. And they are catching up, and they're going to put the wealthy money into Bitcoin. So what's going to happen is the few of us poor people, the few of us regular retail investors who have figured out we're going to do okay. But the masses of others just like us, our friends, our families, our brothers, our sisters, our moms, our dads, that are not catching up to this right now, they're going to be left behind once again when it comes to wealth because they could not see the future. And that's what we're talking about on this channel a lot, is the ability to think about long-term gratification, delayed gratification rather than instant gratification. It's something that wealthy people have found a way to do. Poor people have been instructed not to do so. We've got to change our thinking on that. And I know we got to wrap up the show because it's 10:01. We got to move on. But I'm sitting here watching this whole thing happen, and I'm saying this is a good thing for my personal pocketbook because I'm invested in Bitcoin. This is a terrible thing, though, I think, for what Bitcoin could have become, because it's going to continue to be in the hands of the wealthy and the elite, and they will be able to use Bitcoin, which is a very good thing, for evil purposes. And I'm really hoping that for the few little years we have left before it becomes a massive thing for venture capitalists and elite corporations and stuff, I hope that more and more of our friends and family get involved with it. But guys, it is 10:01.
That's why I'm here every day. That's why I'm still here doing what I do to get people into this every day.
Yep. Guys, that is all we have for you in today's show. Welcome back, T-Shroom. We are so glad to have you back, man. It has been awesome. If you guys have not already, go ahead and smash that like button on your way out. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community on YouTube. That being said, though, we'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got your word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.